Okay, let's switch gears. Let's go to the new, latest developments in the Breonna Taylor case. We know that last week, on last Sunday's show, we talked about the Department of Justice has filed charges against 4 officers from the Louisville Police Department in Kentucky dealing with the killing of Breonna Taylor in March of 2020. Okay, we got the news this past week, came out Friday, August 12th. Washington Post reported ex-detective Kelly Goodlett to plead guilty in Breonna Taylor case, her lawyers say. Ex-detective Kelly Goodlett to plead guilty in Breonna Taylor case, her lawyers say. Kelly Goodlett is accused of helping falsify a search warrant and filing a false report to cover it up. Let's dig deeper into this. So former Louisville Police Department Detective Kelly Goodlett, who's a white woman, white female, intends to plead guilty this month to federal charges in connection to the fatal police shooting of Breonna Taylor, and what would be the first conviction in a case that sparked months of racial justice protests in that city of Louisville, Kentucky, and across the country. Now, remember, the spineless Black Attorney General, who's a protege of Senator Mitch McConnell, Daniel Cameron. Remember, he was too spineless to file charges against these officers. He filed charges against one officer, and that dealt with wanton endangerment. That dealt with the officer recklessly firing into a neighbor's apartment. Okay, it had nothing to do with Breonna Taylor being killed. All right, so this is what you're dealing with. So luckily, we got the Department of Justice is on the case, and Assistant Attorney General of the Civil Rights Department, Kristen Clark, okay, is on the case. All right, let's go back to this article here. Okay, let's go back to this article. Kelly Goodlett and her attorney, Brandon Marshall, along with Mike Songer, an attorney representing the Department of Justice, confirmed her plea agreement during an online court hearing Friday. This was Friday, August 12th, before Magistrate Judge Regina S. Edwards in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Kentucky. Now, Edwards, Magistrate Judge Regina Edwards, in-person hearing August 22nd, 2022, to entertain that plea and released Goodlett on a $10,000 bond, okay, ordering her to relinquish her passport and remove all firearms from her home, ordering her to relinquish her passport and remove all firearms from her home. We're going to clip number 4 in just a second, Giovanni, from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now, Marshall, her attorney, Kelly Goodlett's attorney, Brandon Marshall, responded that Kelly Goodlett's, ex-officer Kelly Goodlett's husband is also a police officer. He and Edwards agreed, and the judge agreed on an arrangement in which Kelly Goodlett's husband, who is a current police officer, will keep his service weapons in a safe, but reset the combination to one that ex-police officer Kelly Goodlett does not know. Now, Kelly Goodlett's ex-Louisville Police Department officer Kelly Goodlett is accused of helping falsify a search warrant and filing a false report to cover it up, which could carry a maximum of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Okay, so her charges are the least severe of the 4 officers. Now, Kelly Goodlett's testimony could be crucial as federal prosecutors pursue charges against 3 others: Sergeant Kyle Meany, former Detective Joshua James, and former Detective Brett Hankinson. They are charged with more serious civil rights offenses and could face life sentences if convicted. Now, we talked about this on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, August 12th. Let's go to this clip, Giovanni.
All right, folks, one of the cops that the Department of Justice charged with the death of Breonna Taylor is going to be pleading guilty. Former Louisville Metro Police detective. She is, first of all, Kelly Goodlett. Her attorney said his client will appear before U.S. District Judge David Hall on August 22nd to enter her plea. Goodlett had to surrender her passport and was ordered to cease contact with her co-defendants, Sergeant Kyle Meany and former detectives Joshua James and Brett Hankinson. With Goodlett's guilty plea, she's expected to testify against her colleague. This will be the first criminal conviction related to Breonna Taylor's death. This, of course, comes on the heel of the Department of Justice again announcing these charges where they hit them, first of all, conspiring, if you will. There was with conspiracy, if you remember. Talking about how they were meeting in parking lots trying to plan their stories as well. This right here, finally, some form of justice for Breonna Taylor, Kelly, and it says a whole lot that already one of these cops, remember, the ones who get the first plea in, they're the ones who get the most leniency, and so by her pleading guilty, she's going to be rolling on those other three.
But it's also kind of bittersweet in the sense that we are waiting, what, 2 years for some semblance of justice for Breonna Taylor. When we had a black attorney, state's attorney, who would rather prosecute someone for the destruction of a wall than the murder of a human being. I will never forget that. I will never forgive that. So seeing this semblance of justice is comforting, but we still got a long way to go.
Michael.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, Roland, you know, this is good news right here. I saw the article from the Washington Post. This is good news. Looks like her testimony is going to be crucial when it comes to getting convictions on the other officers. She's looking at up to 5 years in prison and up to a $250,000 fine. Her charges are probably the least serious, but you know, this is the start. All of these officers should be found guilty. And this, once again, I can't stress this enough. This is the result of voting. If we didn't vote Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris in the office, you wouldn't have Merrick Garland, Department of Justice. You wouldn't have these charges filed. The Trump Department of Justice would not have done this.
Matt, again, as we all, and as you know, on the criminal side, whoever's in first, they're the ones who are going to get the best deal. And so it's abundantly clear she realized, man, we screwed up. Let me try to get this sucker out of the way and try to throw myself on the mercy of the court to get as least time in prison as possible.
Oh, she is absolutely snitching. There is no question. She's about to sing like a canary. And, you know, if I were her lawyer, I might be counseling her to do that in this case, especially because DOJ brought very astute charges. So instead of charging her with anything related to like excessive force or anything like that, they charged her with a conspiracy to falsify the warrants. And the reason that's really important is because people don't know there's actually a Supreme Court case called Franks v. Delaware, and this happens all the time. Criminal defendants, people who are accused, try to attack warrants because often police officers are either dishonest or mischaracterize things in a warrant. So to see it play out on such a high level is important, and for DOJ to have the wherewithal to charge her with that as opposed to something more attenuated is very good, because I think obviously they backed her into a corner where she realized she was cooked. So she's now about to cook the others and sing like a bird, and we'll see how those play out. But that's definitely what's happening here. She's about to snitch, no question.
And man, I think what's also interesting about this, remember when Eric Holder was Attorney General, he talked about the high bar they had to charge folks with violating civil rights. These officers were not charged with violating the civil rights of Breonna Taylor. The Department of Justice, they were real patient and they waited. They waited and they spent their time talking to so many people, and these officers screwed themselves by meeting privately, and DOJ found out, and that's what they hit them with.
Absolutely. And the scary thing, Roland, is how often this happens in all the cases that don't reach the light of day, right? All the cases that are not at this level, the national level, and they're just as important, but we don't hear them happening as often. So I'm glad that DOJ was methodical and took their time. And look, the reality is when the feds prosecute somebody, it's way different than when the state does. The feds have like a 98% conviction rate because they have all the resources to really work out a case, and they have, you know, the best expertise. So for them to not only charge her as astutely as they did here, but also to be methodical and, you know, long thinking in how they set up their case, I think is good. And I think that's going to ultimately yield the appropriate results, because especially at this level, if you had a spate of not guilties, I mean, it would just kind of upset the entire trust in the system, which people already shouldn't have. The system we know is very flawed, should have it to a degree. Let me say that instead. But I think the way they approached this was very astute here, and I'm glad to see that they took the tack that they did.
And again, for folks who don't understand, and I can't stress it enough, Kelly, the work that Kristen Clark is doing as head of the Civil Rights Division under this Department of Justice. I mean, and Attorney Ben Crump said this, and in fact, Carol, let me know if they ever sent us that doggone video from NABJ. I moderated a panel with him in Las Vegas at our convention last week, and he held a news conference about this particular case, and I specifically asked him about what work that she has done, and what he said was, and hopefully we can find the video, he said that this is probably, in his estimation, the most active civil rights division since the days of Robert Kennedy during the civil rights movement.
And, you know, shout out to Black Girl Magic on this one, right? You know, not to belittle it or cheapen it by any means, but I am fortunate enough to know the 2% of Black women attorneys, a lot of them, right? And they are just incredible. And Attorney Clark is no different. I don't know her personally, but I'm familiar with her work. She is incredibly thorough. She's incredibly just smart and strategic. And I don't doubt anything that she has done in her division and in her work. This is expected of her because she has basically made the bar as far as excellence is concerned in this regard. So I'm not surprised. But like I said, even though the DOJ is a completely different division, a completely different jurisdiction rather, it's just bittersweet to know that it took this long for a semblance of justice to be served. But I am more than happy that Attorney Clark is the one to be on the path to administer that justice on behalf of Breonna.
You made a point earlier. You made a point earlier, Michael, of voting matters.
Yes.
And again, I keep saying this. I don't know what the hell this White House is doing. Again, why they're not doing more to trumpet what's happening with the Civil Rights Division. But for the people, for all the people who keep yelling, "Oh, Biden is doing nothing," the reality is, if anyone says, "Oh, they do nothing for Black folks," when I see these officers, when I look at the Ahmaud Arbery case, when I look at these corrections officers and wardens and others who have been tried, convicted, sent to prison, other police officers, folks charged with hate crimes, I mean, you are seeing results as a result of Biden-Harris winning, Garland being AG, Vanita Gupta being the #2 of the Department of Justice, and Kristen Clark being head of the Civil Rights Division. I mean, this is what this is one of the things that you vote for. Yes. Do we still want to see public policy? Yes. Do we still want to see the Georgia Floyd Justice Act? Yes. Do we still want to see For the People Act, John Lewis Act? Yes. But this is also what you vote for.
Absolutely, and let's keep in mind that Senator Tim Scott didn't vote for Kristen Clark when she came up for the Senate confirmation. Susan Collins voted for Kristen Clark, but the Black Republican didn't vote for her. Okay, so you know, this goes back, Roland, to why the Department of Justice was created in 1870 during Reconstruction. They were created largely to protect the new rights of African Americans and go after those domestic terrorists that were attacking African American elected officials and Republican elected officials, things like this. This goes back to why the Department of Justice was created. So, the Biden-Harris administration, when it comes to messaging, they're horrible. When it comes to accomplishments, they have a lot of accomplishments, and the the Inflation the Inflation Act Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 just passed the House of Representatives. That's another win. This past 6 weeks, Biden has been on a roll, and they're peaking at the right time, going to the November 22 midterm elections. But they have to message what their wins are. And once again, I encourage people to read the document. The Biden-Harris administration advances equity and opportunity for Black people and communities across the country. That's at whitehouse.gov. It's a 19-page document. It breaks down how the Biden-Harris administration policies are helping the African-American community. And this is only through February 28th of 2022. So the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill is not in this. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is not in this. Many other wins that they have is not in this. So they have a problem with messaging, but also many of our people have to do better reading as well.
Yeah, but again, I just want people to understand again why people act like, oh, these elections are no big deal. No, they matter, and
Absolutely.
You got to show the hell up. And this is why you can't be asleep at what happens in November with these midterm elections. And
pause it right there. Okay, we're going to pick it up there on the other side of the break, because Roland comes back to me on the panel, and we talk about the power of voting, why it's important to vote, because you would not have a Merrick Garland Department of Justice filing these charges if 16.9 million African Americans did not vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because the Trump Department of Justice would not file charges. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, pause it right there, Giovanni. All right, absolutely. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, let's look at this, because we're almost out of time. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching, because we're going to go past the 2 hours. I got a couple more things to cover with you. So follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, because we're going to keep broadcasting. Read this document here. This is what I've been talking about. I'm the only person that I know of who has talked about this document. Nobody else. I'm on different shows. No, I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. I watch MSNBC, haven't heard Joanne Reed, Tiffany Cross, Charles Blow, haven't heard. I don't get paid to do none of this sugar honey iced tea. And I haven't heard one person talk about this document that's at whitehouse.gov. This was updated February 28, 2022. This only deals with about the first year of the Biden-Harris administration, and it's 19 pages. And it breaks down how the policies of the Biden-Harris administration are benefiting the African-American community. When I was on Reverend Al Sharpton's show for 2 hours 2 weeks ago, his radio show, I mentioned this. The Biden-Harris administration advances equity and opportunity for Black people and communities across the country. Go through and read this. So when you come across Simple Simon-ass people who have absolutely no clue what they're talking about and say these policies don't benefit us, the first question I ask them is, what type of research did you do to come to that conclusion? Did you do a 5-minute Google search? Because if you had Googled how have the policies of the Biden-Harris administration helped the African-American community, you know the first thing that comes up? This document I just showed you at whitehouse.gov. So I don't know where a lot of these people are, but or coming from, but anyway, it is what it is. This article here, I mentioned this on Faraji Muhammad's show and also briefly on Roland Martin, and we've talked about it here. We deal with this in my online class that I teach on Sundays, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. This is from the Smithsonian Institute, SmithsonianMag.com, okay? The magazine of the Smithsonian Institute, created 150 years ago. The Justice Department's first mission was to protect Black rights. This was during Reconstruction, 1870. In the wake of the Civil War, the government's new force sought to enshrine equality under the law. Now, this is from July 1st, 2020. Yes, the Office of the Attorney General was created in 1789, but the Department of Justice wasn't created till 1870. The first Attorney General under the Justice was Amos T. Ackerman, okay? Read this article as well. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're going to keep going for a couple more minutes. We'll talk a little bit about R. Kelly, and then we'll talk about my online class coming up that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Visit our website, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Right now, it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. All right. Let me kill that music. All right, because that'll cause YouTube to take the flaggers. All right, I got a new board op, so I got to break them in. Because I got a new board op. Jalen's not on for the next few weeks. Okay, let's keep going here. Now, okay, so we got that. And then, yeah, so read this article here dealing with the Department of Justice. Okay, read this article here dealing with the Department of Justice. And once again, name of this article: created 150 years ago, the Justice Department's first mission was to protect Black rights. All right. Now, visit our website, TheAHNShow.com. I'm going to do a brief review of some of the things that we talked about this weekend in the online classes. I teach one on Saturdays and one on Sundays. Visit our new website, TheAHNShow.com. You can register for the online history classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. We do the classes live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You don't have to be present in class. You can watch the class anytime. Okay. A year from now, 2 years from now, you can go watch the entire course. Saturdays, normally 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Because of the schedule and I'm at some events, sometimes on the weekend, we have to do the classes during the week. But even if you miss the class, it's fine. I don't take attendance. You can go watch it anytime. Okay. This class is on sale $60, regularly $130. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. You can use your debit card or credit card to process the payment. Even though it's on PayPal's platform, you can use debit card or credit card or PayPal. It doesn't matter. If you want to do Cash App, email me through the website. We could do Cash App also. On Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we had a great class today. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So we start out in 1803 with the Louisiana Purchase, and we deal with history chronologically. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. We deal with history chronologically leading up to the Civil War. Then we go analyze the Civil War, 1861, 1865. Reconstruction era, 1865, 1877, Jim Crow era, Great Migration, 1915, 1970, World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement, to understand what happened to us after slavery ended, the laws and policies put in place to suppress African Americans, so we understand how we got to where we are today, so we know where we need to go from here. Okay.
The work that I do is larger than the fashion industry. It's larger than the art world. And I believe that I was born to bring newness into this world. I'm Kaima McIntyre. I'm 24 years old and I'm an artist. I create everything from paintings to jewelry design, metaphysical jewelry to be specific, and fashion design. The only reason why my prom dress went viral is because people needed it. Within a few days of going viral, Notori Naughton reached out to me and she's like, I saw your dress, can you make me a dress? I was equally as shocked to be asked by a celebrity to design their dress at the age of 17. That's just one person, and the list just continues to go on, to Janet Jackson, to Tyra Banks. It really hits home. That means that the discussion is happening on the grounds in real time.
What does self-care mean to you? To us, it's an opportunity to reconnect with nature. A chance to create something remarkable. At Sage and Elm Apothecary, our handcrafted skincare and household products immerse you in Earth's sweetest nectar, connecting you to nature in a way you never imagined. See for yourself and visit us at sageandelmapothecary.com.
iRedify is a Black-owned digital platform that showcases Black and Brown cultures and people. The books on the platform are written by African American authors, Afro-Caribbean authors, African authors, and so much more. Kids 14 and under can read ebooks, listen to audiobooks, and complete learning activities. Kids can even write in the books digitally. Get unlimited access to everything on the platform for only $8.99 a month at iRedify.com. Sign up for your membership today. Hotep, everybody. Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. And I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has attended the 11th annual Liberated Minds Black Homeschool and Education Expo. I just want to take a few minutes, and we had a great presentation that I did on Saturday. So I teach 2 online history classes. One on Saturday and one on Sunday. On Saturday, the class that I teach, normally 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is called Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And this is normally a 10-week online class. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We can't start studying our history in slavery. Even when we study the transatlantic slave trade, which is important to study, we can't start in 1619 or in the 1440s with the Portuguese, when the Portuguese get involved in the transatlantic slave trade. We have to understand the history chronologically and deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, who entered into the Iberian Peninsula, today known as Spain and Portugal, from North Africa in 711 AD. When we discuss the transatlantic slave trade, we have to first understand that African people are the original people of North, Central, and South America, and have been in the land we call the United States at least 51,700 years. Now, the second class I teach is on Sundays, normally 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Now, these classes are normally $130. They're on sale right now, $60. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded, so you can go back and watch it anytime. So a year from now, 2 years from now, you can go back and watch the entire class. With both of these classes, I would say the content is PG-13, so you can use this with your children as well if you want to. Also, you can advertise with the African History Network. We have 3 new advertising packages. Our current promotion is buy 1 month to get 1 month free. We have 1 million followers at our Facebook fan page, the African History Network. And with our platinum package, we'll take out ads on our Facebook fan page for you as well to help maximize your advertising campaign. And we take your 30-second to 60-second commercial, we put into the rebroadcast of our shows, and also into the audio podcast of our shows as well. We only have 20 advertising slots because we have a finite amount of advertising space. Email us at TheAHNShow@TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, TheAHNShow@TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, or call us 313-462-0003. All right, right now it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever, and we'll talk to you soon.